Now this is what I like to call a sitcom movie. By that I mean that its plot, its characters, it's just general vibe. It all feels like something straight out of an okay episode of a sitcom. Just a little bit raunchier, I guess. This dude's getting married, doesn't really have any friends.
Unless you are planning to run, you are backing yourself into a very tight corner.
I'm not sure I understand what you're implying.
3 out of 7 of your groomsmen are Hall of Famers.
Hires a guy to be his best man. That just feels like something just very TGIF.
It's Friday night, and the mood is right. We're gonna have some fun, show you how it's done, TGI.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I have a big soft spot for just really dopey sitcoms. It's something I call marshmallow entertainment. It's light, fluffy, makes you feel good. Doesn't really have that much value to it, though. But again, not really a bad thing necessarily. I liked it. It's kind of dumb, it's predictable, but I enjoyed watching it play out. It was just a nice little experience. And I think part of that has to do with the two leads, Josh Gad and Kevin Hart. They're both really funny people. Ultimately, they do deserve a better script than this. Between this and Get Hard, I don't know what the deal is with Kevin Hart. But still, the two of them really do kind of elevate this thing. And I liked watching their buddy friendship. This was ultimately a bromance movie, and it was a pretty good one. The movie made me laugh, and I had a good time with it. Is it a great movie? No. If you never see this movie, it's not like you're really gonna have lost anything, but if you see it, yeah, you'll have fun.
I gotta be honest with you guys.
Oh my God!
Guys, it was so good. Sorry, guys. I didn't know it was that high, guys. I'm so sorry.
Everest. Everest is another pretty good true story movie in a year that seems to be full of pretty good true story movies. Seriously, spy movies and true story movies, those were the things this year. Anyway though, it's a movie that it's got some great cinematography, some really good acting, some good moments of the feels, and really problematic pacing. That's the biggest thing holding this movie back, is the pacing issues and the character development. It's kind of a cyclical thing. They go up the mountain, they stop for camp, they yell at each other for a little bit, they go up again, stop for camp, yell at each other, on and on and on it goes. And it doesn't really feel like it has a solid arc. It makes a point when these characters do start dying off, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. And maybe that's the way it was supposed to feel, but it just doesn't feel organic. The way characters die off in this movie is very interestingly done, I have to say. And first of all, it's got an all-star cast, so unless you know the true story, you really have no idea who's safe in here. Anyone can die. And they die in many different ways. There's some times where their death scenes are really dragged out, and there's other times where some wind blows and the guy's just gone. At the same time, even though there's a lot of these characters talking to each other and getting to know each other, I never really felt like I knew them that well. Beyond the basic character traits. Oh, this guy's a mailman, this guy's... Honestly, the mailman's the only one I really remember. Like, there's a scene where there's this guy and he's talking on his satellite phone to his wife, and he's saying goodbye to her as he's dying, and it's a really fucking sad scene. But it's not sad because I was attached to this character. It's sad because that concept alone is just a fucking sad concept. And I do really feel weird saying this about that, because I know this is a true story. I know these were real people. These people's deaths were tragic, they had families and all that stuff, but I didn't get to know them as real people in this movie, I felt. And that almost feels like a disrespect to the real people involved in this story. And that is a flaw with the movie, and it has to be acknowledged, but still, it is a story worth telling, and it tells it effectively enough. It could have been done a lot better, and it's really a missed opportunity, but for what we have here, it's still good. It's got some tense moments, it's got some emotional moments, and if nothing else, it's just really fucking good to look at. One of the things that in a movie you get out of the story that you wouldn't get out of just hearing about this story or reading about this story on Wikipedia or some shit. When you actually see the mountain in all its glory, you get why these people would risk it. I personally probably wouldn't do it, but I do understand why some people would risk this. And in that sense, yeah, the movie is successful. So it is a missed opportunity in a lot of ways, but it hits enough of its marks.
What do you do when you're not climbing, Doug?
What, for work?
Yeah.
Different things. Carpenter, mailman.
Carpenter, mailman?
Yep.
Seriously, you deliver the mail?
Yeah, I deliver the mail.
Mailman on Everest?
Hope so.
I like that. Mailman on Everest.
Train wreck. Well, you know, with the exception of funny people, all of Judd Apatow's movies really do follow the same formula. When his movies were first starting to get big, they were fun, they were new, they were different, they were something exciting. Now, I'm really getting tired of all these tropes, and Trainwreck is no different. Someone who doesn't believe in relationships, they meet someone who might change that, and hijinks. It's the same here, just the genders are swapped. Gender swap is a nice touch, but still, we've seen this before. Another thing, I really don't like the idea in these movies that someone has to fundamentally change everything about themselves in order to properly be in a relationship. Compromise, sure, but this is going well beyond that. I mean, I'm not advocating being a giant man-child and smoking weed all the time and stuff like that, but why does there always have to be a scene in these movies where someone throws away their bongs? That's just... I'm really getting sick of that trope. And it just feels like a confused message that if someone's not fundamentally changing you, it's not a good relationship. Saw the same thing in Knocked Up, and you see the same thing here. I'm fucking sick of it. Anyway, I've made enough of a tangent. How's Trainwreck? It's fine. I'm getting kind of sick of seeing the same thing regurgitated again and again. But still, I had fun when it was called Knocked Up, and I'm still having fun with it when it's called Trainwreck. It's just important to know that the same goddamn thing. Still, in a raunchy sitcom sort of way, I had fun with this movie. And I've never really been a big fan of Amy Schumer, and this isn't really making me want to rush out and watch any of her comedy specials. I guess I do kind of respect her as a screenplay writer. I mean, yeah, she's fallen into all these stupid tropes, but she knows how to make me laugh. Bill Hader's really good in this, and the two of them have really good chemistry with each other, just to a surprising degree. I really bought them as a couple, and I was really kind of rooting for them. It's trite, and we've seen it all before, but seeing it again, it's harmless, and it's funny. That's the bottom line. The movie did make me laugh quite a few times. I don't know if it's something I'm going to rush out to see again, but I'm glad I saw it once.
Your muscles aren't the fucking problem.
Do you
it's
even
your
live?
yapping girlfriend.
Just say fuck you.
I will fuck you, all right? I will enter you.
You're gonna enter me? Did you hear what he said?
What are you talking about right now?
I'm just trying to intimidate him.
You're just talking about raping him.
You're not about that life, champ.
The Duff. So this is kind of a similar deal to that movie Easy A with Emma Stone that came out a few years back. By that I mean The Duff is very much an homage to the John Hughes classics of the 80s. Unlike Easy A though, which to be completely honest I fucking hated, The Duff doesn't rely on nostalgia and shout-outs to old movies to get its laughs. It takes the ideas of those old 80s John Hughes movies and it updates them, it satirizes them. You can see the inspiration, but it doesn't rely on that inspiration. I mean, the whole movie itself is kind of like an updated version of Pretty in Pink. It's still got enough differences to it where it's really its own thing. It's also just an updated way to reflect the modern high school experience. Admittedly, that's an experience I'm several years away from, but from my understanding, it is a little bit different. Hell, just in the time I was in high school, the old Breakfast Club tropes didn't really work anymore.
Times have changed. Jocks play video games. Princesses are on antidepressants. And geeks basically run the country.
The one downfall to the movie, though, is that we are still just telling the same teen movie story that we've been telling for decades. So here's how this movie goes, okay? So there's this girl, she finds out that she's classified as the Duff.
DUFF. Designated ugly fat friend.
She's the friend that her hotter friends hang out with to make themselves look better. At least that's the image everyone has of her. So she's going to try to change her image, and she's going to try to win the heart of this boy that she has a crush on by enlisting the help of boy number 2, who's this old friend that they've gone their separate ways over the years, gotten interested in different things. So her and boy number 2 go on this adventure, discovering what labels mean as she tries to get the attention of her crush. How do you think that story's going to play out? Spoiler alert, you're exactly right. It's just that goddamn predictable. You know where this thing is going to go as soon as the story gets rolling. It's like, oh, it's going to do this, then that, then that, then that, then that, and it's going to end up here. And it does exactly that. There's no surprises here, and just even the message. I mean, the message about labels, it's a good message, but you know exactly the message it's going to tell. Even if you've never seen a teen movie in your life, and especially if you have, you can tell exactly where this thing is going to go. That is one thing that really does bug me with teen movies. It's just, there haven't really been that many innovations. We're just still trying to milk the John Hughes teat. That felt really dirty to say. But the point is, it's still a fun movie. It's still a nice enough movie, and you just leave it and you're just kind of like, oh, well that was nice. And Mae Whitman is great. It was really kind of a breakout role for her. I mean, she had that small part in Perks of Being a Wallflower. And she's also done some voice work over the years, obviously, but other than that, she hasn't really done that much. This is her movie. It's a teen movie with all that entails.
Whoa, Bianca, what the hell is this?
Huh, kind of looks like a penis, only smaller.
Minions. So I'll just say right off the bat, if you're not a fan of Minions already, this movie isn't going to change your mind. So really just go ahead and skip to the next video, because this one's done for you. We're good now? We good? Okay. So now it's just us, the people who actually aren't sick of the Minions. Yeah, I'll be honest, I do kind of like these guys. They do make me laugh. It's a very juvenile sort of humor, but it's humor nonetheless. But how is their movie? It's okay. It's fine. The biggest thing here is that, I mean, we've seen this type of movie before, where there's a character or characters who are really popular and then they get their own spin-off movie. But the really good ones of this type, in my opinion, they do something a little different with their spin-off movie. Like, take the Penguins of Madagascar, for example. When they had their spin-off movie, yeah, it was very clearly a Madagascar movie, but it was still a little different. The story and tone was just a little bit different. It was more like a spy movie, so it kind of fit the Penguins into their own thing. Minions doesn't really do that. I mean, yeah, we have a new supervillain, but she's really just an inferior Gru. For the most part, this basically just feels like another Despicable Me movie, just from the Minions' perspective. So we just get a Despicable Me movie, but just with the Minion stuff amplified. Maybe that sounds fun to you. To me, I was a little disappointed, because the Despicable Me movies, I like the Despicable Me movies, and I like the Minions, but the Minions aren't the only thing I like in the Despicable Me movies. I like all the supervillain stuff, I like all the weird gadgets and the Dr. Seuss-y kind of look to it all. Basically, you just get less of that and more of the Minions. And the Minions, I'm realizing now, are better in moderation. I think a better way to have done this movie is kind of how you see it in the beginning, where it's more like a nature documentary and kind of like a National Geographic thing of like, here we see the wild Minions in their natural environment. Watch as they try to find a new leader. Fascinating. You get a little bit of that in the beginning of the movie, and those are the best parts of the movie by far. But once they do find this new supervillain, it's just not as good. There's still fun stuff to be had in this movie. I mean, it's kind of a period piece. It takes place in the 60s, I think. So you see kind of how the Despicable Me universe worked in that time period, and that's kind of fun. They go to a villain convention, and that's pretty cool. The movie could have been better, but for what it is, it's fine. It's nice. It made me laugh. That's the thing. Bottom line of the movie is that it did make me laugh, so it did its job. It's definitely the poorest link in all the Despicable Me movies, but if you're a fan of these movies, I don't really see any reason why you wouldn't enjoy this one.
Alrighty, who needs to stretch their legs?
Yeah! Me. You guys wait here. We'll be right back.
Okay, Nelsons, let's do this!
Potakino?
I mean, yeah, I'm getting kind of sick of seeing the same thing regurgitated. I'm getting kind of sick of seeing the same thing I'm seeing seeing the same thing regurgitated. Same thing regurgitated again. I'm getting kind of sick of seeing the same thing regurgitated again and again.